All right, I'm live. Gonna get started in like 10 minutes. Microphone check 1, 2. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. This is going to be a good one, y'all. This is going to be a good one. Got some video for you guys, and I got some PowerPoints here, so we about to get down. Y'all welcome to the Too Much Moxie podcast. I am your humble host, Too Much. And we about to get started, y'all. We are about to get started. We are about to get started. About to get started, y'all. What's going down? What's going down? What's going down? Get the mic here situated here. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, go ahead and type a 1 in the comments. If you can hear me, type a 1 in the comment. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. But we about to do this one, y'all. We about to do, hold on. Before we get this started, let me get these get that out the way. And I just want to put this back up here so y'all know what the title is. Do modern women have you on a leash? Do they have you on a leash? Are you tied up? Are you held down? Are you emasculated and you don't even know it? About to get into it. About to get into it, man. I want to play this video real quick, you guys. I want to start with the video, man. I want y'all to understand what's going on here, what we're up against here. Because we're about to get into it. We are about to get into it. So let's stop share on that screen. I'm about to share this. We're about to share this. We're about to share this. Okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up, y'all. What's going down? How's everybody doing tonight? Or it's night here. I'm sorry. I'm on that East African time, y'all. It's about 9:05 p.m. What time is it there? It is 11:05 a.m. on the West Coast, and it's about 2 p.m. on the East Coast. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That's how we playing this one today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That's how we're playing this today. So what we're about to do here, let me go ahead and drop that bow. And let me go ahead and blow this up here. And I just want to play this part, man. I want y'all to see the emasculation in process, man, because some of y'all think this is frat, this is cool to walk down the aisle, have your girl put you on a leash. But this is that buffoonery. This is that buffoonery, okay? This is that buffoonery. Let's play the video, or at least a snippet of it. I'm not gonna play the audio. Because I'm gonna get, YouTube, they don't like that. So we're not gonna play the audio, but we are gonna play the video. Y'all see him? Y'all see him there? Look at him. In front of children, in front of everybody. Look at him. Go ahead, Atomic Dog. Go ahead. Got your bride to be. You think that's masculine? You think that's okay? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything appropriate or funny about a brother on a leash, shaking his tail, humping the ground like a dog, walking around. But as fun or as joking this can seem to be. Oh, we got to stop it right there. Hold on. Let me just remove it. Bam! Come back on the screen. Because she going to talk. Let me go back. I stole this from somebody else's video, but Y'all see the gist. We don't even have to go into it any more than that. Y'all see the gist. Y'all see where we're going with this. Okay? Does a modern woman have you on a leash? Does your woman have you on a leash? That's what I want to know. Are you constrained? Are you confined? Are you trapped in this box that you can't get out of? Can you only go so far? Do you have somebody telling you what time to come home? Do you have somebody telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing? Do you have somebody always trying to correct you? What's going on? What is going on? What is going on? Do modern women have you on a leash? You know how it is. You're out with your boys, you're talking, and then all of a sudden, you got to ask for permission, right? You know how it go. You talking with your boys, you on the phone, like, hey man, why don't you come hang out? Why don't you do this? And you're like, hold on, man. I got to check with the wife. All of a sudden, now you're back from, hey man, not this time. You know, I got some things to handle with the wife real quick, or emergency. Is that you? Do modern women have you on a leash? Do they have you on a leash? Do they have you on a leash? Does your woman have you on a leash? Well, guess what? We got 10 keys that's going to help you harness your masculinity. We're going to get that leash off your neck, okay? We're going to bring you back to reality for a minute. We're going to bring you back to reality for just a moment. We're going to get you out of there. We're going to get you off that leash, because if you are a man, you should not be on a leash. You should not be timid or scared to speak your mind. If you can't say certain things because your woman is in the room, something is wrong. You may not know it. You know, you may not know it. You may not know. You may not know that something's wrong with that, right? But something is definitely wrong with that. If you don't know, it's probably because you've been emasculated. When is it wrong to be a man? When is it wrong to think like a man, to act like a man, to talk like a man? When is it wrong? When is it wrong? Let's go to the comments. I see Walter in the comments. Interesting. The bad part is, who makes the leash? It's not just the woman making the leash, but entity. Oh, we can get deep in that too. We can get deep in that too. Sometimes we put a leash on ourselves because we think that's the best thing for us. Sometimes we censor ourselves because we believe that's the best thing for us, right? Sometimes we put ourselves into our own little box because we're afraid of what people might think of us. Is that you? Are you afraid of what people might think of you? Are you afraid to be a man? Unapologetically a man. That's who I am. Are you afraid to be your true self? Do you have to candy coat, sugar coat, toe tip around, walk on eggshells, walk on glasses even, because you're afraid to be who God meant you to be? Are you afraid to be a man? God made you a man. Are you afraid? We're going to get into it. I got some PowerPoints for y'all, man. We're going to pull out some points, man. I did my homework, man. I went to work on this. I said, was talking with my brother, and he was like, "You should do a show on this." And I was like, "You know what? You are absolutely right. I should do a show on this." And here it is. This is the show. Do modern women have a leash on you? Do you have a leash on yourself? Let's get into it, man. I'm about to bring up the PowerPoint, man. Does your woman have a leash on you? 10 keys to harnessing masculine energy. Let's get into it, yo, guys. Let's get into it. The first thing that you got to do is you got to start by removing the leash. You got to remove the leash. Get that thing off your neck. Take it off, throw it down. Whatever you got to do, don't do it. Get that leash off your neck. Don't let her control you. Don't let her boss you around. Don't let her control your life. If you're dating or married to a woman like that, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You're never going to get any respect. Never going to get any respect. My dad taught me this. It is better to be respected than it is to be loved. Because just because somebody see, let me tell you something. If they love you, they'll still cheat on you. They'll still emasculate you. They'll still manipulate you in the name of love. But if they respect you, they won't do that because they respect you too much. See, men have it backwards. If you're trying to get these women to love you, then you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. If you're trying to get a woman to love you, I'm gonna say what it is. You're a simp. You're simping. You are a capital S on the chest. If you want women to love you, you're a simp. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a woman loving you, but I'm saying if that's your goal, if your goal is to have a woman love you, if you need to feel loved, then you're a simp. Plain and simple. You're a simpleton. You don't know any better. You're dumb. You're ignorant. You're naive. See, a man's supposed to lead with purpose. A man is supposed to be decisive. And you can't lead with purpose when you got a leash on your neck. You can't even be decisive when you got a leash on your neck, when you got somebody trying to tell you what you should be doing. If you don't know what you should be doing, then you ain't ready to be in a relationship. You ain't ready to be with a woman. You need to go back, start all over, find out who you are. You know how they say, get healed, become a whole person before you go jumping into the relationship. Because a woman, if you don't know what you're doing, she's an assassin. Let me tell you right now, women are assassins. If you ever want to plot out revenge or you ever want to do something devious, call a woman and tell her what you want to do. And she'll tell you how to do it and how to execute it because she's an assassin. She's a killer. She will emasculate you. Oh yeah, you're welcome, man. What you are very man. Let me drop the link. Okay. This link is only for Walter Downing. Now I will open it up at the end. But this link right here is for Walter Downing. We give this, we don't allow this brother to come up and talk because we're gonna go into this. I got some PowerPoints for y'all. Let me drop the link real quick. Invite guest, copy the clipboard. Now, this is only for Walter Downing. If you do show up and you're in the back, that's okay. Just hang out in the back. I'll get to you when I can. But we're going through this. So I dropped the link. The link is for Walter Downing. But let's get into it, man. You got to remove the leash. You got to get that thing up off your neck. You got to get her heel off your neck. Okay? Start by removing the leash. Start by reclaiming your manhood back. Break up with the woman if you have to, because she won't. She's not respecting you. Let me tell you something. Once a woman loses respect for you, don't even try to waste your time to get it back. If you already got the leash on, it might just be time to end that relationship and start a new one, because it's going to take some time to get it back. It's going to take some work to get it back. And you might not be willing to go through what it takes to earn that woman's respect back. And it might take it, trust me, she's not going to like it. She's not going to like you trying to assert your manhood after she already has trained you a certain way. After she already put that leash on your neck. It's going to be difficult to get it back. Welcome, Walter, down to the show, man.
Yo.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm glad you preaching and freeing some brothers from abuse.
Man, we gotta free these brothers, man, because they don't want to speak their mind. I'm tired of talking to brothers who are emasculated, who gotta pander to women, who gotta, I want to talk to men. I don't want to talk to you if you gotta be censored. I want to talk to a man. I want to have a logical conversation so we can work through some things. I don't want to have an emotional conversation or a moving of the goalpost conversation or manipulate. I want to talk to a man that says, you know what? Let us sharpen each other. Let iron sharpen iron. This is that room. This is a man's channel, so we got to go into it. So I put together a PowerPoint, Walter. I put together 10 keys to help these men release their masculine energy. And number one is you got to start by removing the leash. Removing the leash. You can't have a leash on your neck and be a man. You can't be walking around talking about dog catcher, bow wow wow, yippee yo. You can't do that. I know that's frat. I know y'all think that's cool. But that's just bondage. That's just pandering to women. Okay? Now what you do in the confines of a bedroom, that's on you. That's on you. If you want to do that stuff and do that dominant, that's on you. But I'm trying to help you get out of that, brother, because that's bondage too. That dominatrix stuff, that is also another form of emasculation, and that's also another form of bondage. So I'm here to set you free so you clearly know that you got to remove that leash. Let's go on to slide number 2. Communicate your boundaries in love, but also in anger. Boundaries in love and anger are the same. The only difference is that you communicate your boundaries when you are angry out of fear. But with the woman, she needs to hear it at all times. You don't have to be angry to communicate them, but you do need to be clear. She needs to know that you can't cross certain lines with you and get away with it. That's what makes her respect you as an equal partner. Right or wrong? Well,
Right. It's also for your purpose
how
too, because
as a partner if you don't have boundaries?
right, and not just as a partner too, but for your purpose, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
preachers, podcast hosts that won't preach people the truth because they got some woman, whether it's a wife, a girlfriend, sister, brother, sitting right there watching them, and with that look like, oh, if you preach that on your podcast, or you preach that on your pulpit, or you um, say this out in public, we're gonna get you, or I'm gonna threaten you with divorce or withhold sex, or so a man has to be able to communicate those boundaries, say, hey, look, this is my calling, this is what I have to do. Um I can't be a man if I'm not preaching the truth, with you hovering over me, um getting butthurt about what I say. So
Facts. All facts. She may not like hearing this at first because she has been conditioned society by her mother, her father, to think that men should be weak and subservient around women. However, if she truly loves you, then it won't matter. It won't matter. If she truly loves you and she's truly there for you, then over time she's gonna respect that. And you can't be afraid if the woman leaves. You cannot be afraid. If you're afraid that your woman is gonna leave you because you are being a man or asserting yourself or following your purpose, then you still got that leash on, my brother. You're not free. You're not a free man. You can't be free if you're worried about what people think about you. See, as men, we have to know. We have to know. We have to think and we have to know. We got time to feel later. Okay? But in the beginning, the first thing you do is you got to think and you got to know. And you can't do that with a leash around your neck, worried about what women think. See, that's the downfall of man. Ask Adam. Go back to Adam. See, Adam was worried about his wife. He was worried about Eve. He was worried about what she might think. So he allowed her to be manipulated because you know what? He looked at her like she was a god. He worshiped her. See, that's what modern women want. They don't want your love. They want your worship. If you don't believe me, just go outside. Just look to turn on the television. Go to church even. What's being preached to you at church? Women worship. What do you see when you go to church? A bunch of women. Women in the pulpit. Women in the auxiliary. Telling men what they should be doing. You ain't man enough. How many times you heard that? You ain't man enough.
True. Go
Oh,
beyond
you
that.
need to protect all women. How many times you heard that?
They don't just say you ain't man enough. You got to go beyond. You got to also communicate your boundaries to entities too, because they're going to say, "Oh no, you don't love your children. You don't love your wife. You're not this. You're not that. If you're not bowing down to um, these statures of the many different types of entities that's out there, and some of those entities are
Yeah,
training
because
wives over husbands."
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the media will try to tell you, the movies will try to tell you what a man is, what a woman is, what children should be. And if you don't know, you are going to have he's actually right. It just doesn't have to be a modern woman with a leash on your neck. You can also have entities with the leash on you. You can also listen. Even in the confounds of YouTube, okay, there is some censorship. You see what I'm saying? That's a leash, my brother. We supposed to be free men. We supposed to have freedom of speech. So we even got to push back on these YouTube streets, and sometimes we got to just say this video is not going to get monetized because I got to preach the truth. But guess what? That's why we got something called Patreon coming with a Patreon about to be started coming real soon, and we about to bring all you when y'all want to hear that real stuff, uncensored stuff. Y'all come to Patreon, where brother can speak his mind, speak his truth, speak his word, and give y'all the real deal. Because even on these YouTube streets, there's some censorship, there's some leashing going on. But brother, we unleashed over here. We unleashed over here. Okay. Let me go to the next slide, man. Communicate your boundaries in the bedroom. You got to communicate. Oh man, you got to communicate your boundaries in the bedroom. This is a good rule of thumb for all aspects of your relationship, but especially when it comes to sex. There's nothing more frustrating than being pressured into something you don't want, especially by someone you love. If there's anything that sets off your alarm, let them know before things get too heated. You know what I'm talking about. They want to put that finger in the butt. They want to twirl it around. You gonna let her do that? You gonna let her do that? Or do you got that leash on your neck? And you're gonna be like, okay, baby. That's part of emasculation. She's trying to emasculate you when she wants to put that little finger in the little, she want to spin it a little around a little bit. I'm sorry to say, it is what it is. I gotta be truthful with y'all, man. I gotta be truthful with y'all, man. Don't allow that to happen. Don't be that guy. If that happened to you in the past, stop it. Just cut it. Just don't let it happen again. Because you don't know the manipulating game. You don't know. If she says she wants to stick something up there, that's because she wants to emasculate. She wants to control you. That's how women control a man. I don't know if you knew that. If a woman's able to convince you to do something like that, I don't want to say you're suspect. I don't want to say that's suspect, okay? But I will say this. You've been emasculated and you just don't know it. If you're letting her play around in the poo-poo area, you've been emasculated, my brother. You got to get your manhood back. I'm not saying you can't come back from that, because you can. Just stop it. Now in the bedroom, you want to take risk, you want to be assertive, you want to be physically active, because you want to be able to put it down. You want to be able to put it down. You want to be able to put it down. Do your tantra. You gotta know your stroke. So let me tell you, brothers, you got to educate yourself, because I'm educating myself. I didn't know about tantra. I thought, I'm learning. I'm learning. Okay. But even as a man, you got to know how to unleash your masculine energy. You got to do some yoga. You got to do some stretching. You got to be physically fit. You got to be able to put it down in the bedroom, man. You can't be slacking in the bedroom. Okay? Because that's just gonna hurt you in the long run. You got to be able to put it down. You got to know your stroke. You ever heard that saying, don't overplay your stroke? You got to know your stroke. You got to know what you can do and what you can't do. You got to communicate this in the bedroom also. You got to be assertive in the bedroom also. Now, you got to take some risks too. You got to find, maybe you will overplay your stroke. Okay, because you're gonna try some different things and see. But one of the things you got to make sure is that you set up what your do's and your don'ts are in the bedroom. Now, if you like getting your poo-poo swirled, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. If she's okay with that, y'all go ahead. I'm not gonna tell you not to do it. You go ahead and do what you got to do. Okay, but understand that is also an emasculating process. Okay, that it is what it is. But whatever you like to do during sex, I mean, y'all do it. If it makes you happy, if y'all stay together, whatever you got to do. But I'm telling you right now, as a man, communicate these boundaries right now. Let her know what your do's and your don'ts are. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say, I'm not with that. That's never gonna happen. Because, like I said, there's some things I don't want to experience. I tell you like that, experience can kill you. Experience can kill you. There are some things I don't want or I don't need to experience to live a happy and a fulfilled life. Number 4, you got to go out with other guys and have a good time without your woman. If you can't move around without your woman, something's wrong. To harness your masculine energy, you must go out with other people and have a good time without her. Remember, she is not the center of your universe. You don't need to be with her all the time. A great way to get started with this is to go out with friends or even a group of friends. It will help you learn how much fun it is when you don't have to worry about what she thinks or whether she likes where you are going or who you're hanging out with. You got to get away from the woman giving you orders. The women are emotional. They want to be involved in everything, okay? They want to be involved in everything. You can't allow them to be involved in everything. Okay? You can't. You have to learn how to be who you have to learn how to be you without her. If you can't be you without her, you have a leash on your neck.
Yeah,
You got a leash on your neck. Go
I
ahead.
think men need to know how to do that with or without her. Because one thing in my practice that I have couples doing, oftentimes the man will be cool with whatever the woman does. You know, hey, I'm gonna go out and get my hair done, or hey, come with me to do this, see this movie that you don't like, blah blah blah. But she wants him to be cool with all of her activities. But as soon as he goes to do something, oh, you're going to that golf course again, or you're playing them cards again, blah blah blah. Hey, don't hate on what I do. You know what I mean? Like if anything, train your woman. Um, like Moxie said, be able to do stuff on your own. But then also, if you are together, make sure that she's not hating on your stuff. Check that from the door. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, we should be able to enjoy
Yeah.
our time together.
Exactly. You got to check that at the door. You have. That's what I'm saying. When you can live life a lot more clear, a lot more open, a lot more. You have a lot more understanding if you set these boundaries in the beginning. See, it's difficult to set up boundaries when you didn't set them up before, because once they already overstepped them, it's hard for them to backtrack. Women are habitual line steppers, habitual boundary breakers. Okay, because women want to test you. Let me tell you something. They know how to get what they want. They know you're gonna say no at this time, so they'll ask you at another time. They're like children. You know how children do it. They're gonna wait for the right time to wear. They're gonna wear you down. They're gonna wait till you're tired. You're frustrated. Okay, fine. Just go ahead and do it. That's what they're gonna do because you didn't set boundaries. You didn't put up them borders. You didn't build that wall. No open borders. No open borders. We need the wall. You got to have a wall. You got to say, okay, this person can come. You got to set the boundaries early. You got to, man. They can't. Nobody can just come across your border unless they got a visa, a passport. No open borders.
Yeah, if a
You
man
got to
doesn't
have
instruct
boundaries.
his house, they're gonna blame it on him anyway. Whose fault is it gonna be? Oh, you didn't give us no
It's your
direction. You didn't give
house.
us no instruction.
It's your house. If
Hmm.
someone comes in and breaks in, it's your fault. You didn't put the alarm on. You didn't lock the door.
Hmm.
I gotta show y'all this food right quick, man. This is what the queen brings me right here. Let me show y'all this right here. Oh my god, y'all see that? Y'all see that plantain and chicken right there? And I got this avocado right here. Let me show y'all this avocado right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's that avocado right here. Ooh, we eating good, man. We gonna be eating good.
Wow, that's
We
from the
gonna be
tree,
eating
huh? Straight from the tree.
straight from the tree, man. Straight from the tree. Plantain from the garden. Chicken, freshly butchered and cooked, man. We eating on it. Okay, get you a queen that knows how to make. I guess, for lack of a better word, make chicken from scratch. I don't know if that's the best way to say it. Get you a queen. Let me tell you something. If the world ever end, if the economy ever fall, how you gonna survive? How you gonna survive if you can't farm? You can't take care of yourself. You can't plant something. You can't grow something. You better find you the farmer's daughter. Better find you the farmer's daughter. That's all I'm trying to tell you. All I'm trying to tell you. You got to make plans without her. You don't always have to include her. A lot of people get caught up in the idea that they should make plans with their partner as often as possible. They think this is what they are supposed to do and that it will keep them happy. The truth is, women only want you around when it suits them anyway. So if she has a friend over or something else going on, that's when she wants your attention. She won't hesitate to tell you about it. It can be annoying sometimes. If she does ask if you want to join in or whatever, the fun activity she planned for the night or tomorrow night, Try to say no. Don't always say yes. Don't always be so agreeable. Don't always, every time she wants to throw something and she wants to have a big thing and she wants you to be alone, it's okay to say no. We're not doing that. We're doing this. Why? Why do you do that? Not because they're trying to be mean, not because you're trying to be disagreeable, but because you're trying to be assertive. You're trying to let her know, hey, I still run this. You still got it. You know what? I don't feel like it today. I'm not in the mood. Sometimes she has to get on your page. You can't always be on her page. Now, you have to do this. You can't just do it just to do it. Okay? You have to kind of do this early on. So it's a habit. So it doesn't cause friction in your marriage. So there isn't any jealousy. She has to know if sometimes a woman can tell when you're not in the mood. And if you set up those boundaries and those borders, she'll understand. Oh, we just not in the mood right now. This is not a good time right now. Okay, girl, you know what? I thought about we was gonna have this party, but you know what? We're not gonna do it right now. I gotta see about my man. I gotta see what's going on with him. Because if you're always agreeable, she's gonna keep trucking. She's gonna walk on your back, and she's not gonna get off. Okay, she's gonna keep trucking. She's gonna keep moving the boundaries. And then when you say if she's not, she's gonna get upset. She has to get used to that sound of no. Like I said, it doesn't have to be all the time. You don't got to be overboard, but you gotta let her know, hey, this is my house. I'm the leader. I'm the vision caster, okay? You have to get on my page. If you don't, you know how it is. The woman, once they start losing respect for you, once they feel like they can emasculate you, they're assassins. They're gonna go in for the kill. And once they go in for the kill, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna leave you. Once you become a dead carcass to them, it's over. They're just in the relationship now, dancing on you, talking bad about to their friends, Oh, he's boring. Oh, he's too nice. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Oh, he's a good man, but how many times have you heard that? Oh, he's a good man, but you don't want to be that guy. It's better for her to say, girl, my man is strict. Girl, my man, he just, he's moody. He's bipolar. It's okay for her to say all those things. Okay? It's okay. Those are actually, even though it sounds toxic, though that's not toxic. Because now she's letting her friends and her family and whoever know that, hey man, my husband has boundaries and you can't do this. And we can't do this because he's this way. It's better than her saying he's a good man, but he's too nice. He's boring. I'd rather say he never lets me do anything than be boring. Because at least she knows, these people know that there's boundaries.
Nobody's going to appreciate something if it's always given to them, right?
That's right. Those are facts. Those are facts. Number 6, man, we getting through this pretty fast, but we going through it. Don't be afraid to make decisions in the relationships and sometimes even make them without her input. I know you think it's okay, you got to talk it out all the time. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't talk things out with your wife, but don't think you got to do it all the time. You're a man. Your wife is not always going to be around. You have to learn how to make decisions. Now, this is a controversial one because women are very emotional creatures. They often want to be involved in every single decision that you make, which can get exhausting for men. But at the same time, if you are completely dependent on your woman for everything, then she'll have too much power over you, and her emotions will get the best of her. You must find balance between making decisions based on your own intuition and making them with your partner's input. Balance. There's some things I'm gonna talk to my wife about, and there's some things I don't need to talk to her about. There's some things we're gonna come together and discuss because I do want to. Let's be real. Men do want women's input. We do, but we don't want it all the time. We don't need it all the time. We were men before we met her, and we're going to be a man with her. The man's job is to make decisions. The man's job is to lead. The man's job is to see where we're going and pave the way. The bottom line is this: if she doesn't agree with something that you decided, don't just go along with it because she says no. She says so. Instead, try asking yourself, is there any valid reason why she might not agree? And try being open-minded when considering those reasons. In some cases, it may be helpful to take another step back and reevaluate whether or not the decision was actually right after all. But ultimately, it's up to you, not her, whether or not something makes sense with your own mind.
That's a trust builder right there.
That's it. When making decisions, you got to be emotionally present and you got to be mentally focused. An unfocused man, you can't make a decision. What does the Bible say about people who are double-minded?
That they get tossed to and fro and they'll never meet any goals, in paraphrasing.
Yeah. Double-minded, if you're double-minded, you get tossed to and fro, but you also receive nothing. You receive nothing from God if you're double-minded. So if you want to be a man of purpose, if you want to be a man that's spiritual, if you're not assertive, if you're not emotionally present, if you're not mentally focused, if you're not decisive, you can't get anything. You can't be sitting there at the restaurant talking about, I don't know what I want to eat. I don't know what I want, whatever you want. No. You look at that menu and you say, this is what I want. Don't say, oh, you choose for us, baby. You know what I like. No, of course she knows what you like, but you choose what you want. You got to be emotional. See, a lot of times the men are not emotionally present. Let's be real. Our mind is somewhere else, even though we're in the room. I'm guilty of that. But when it comes time to make a decision, when it comes time to say what we're going to do, you got to drown all that other stuff out and you got to focus. You got to become present. Even at the dinner table. You got to be present. Because you know she's going to be talking your head off at the dinner. You know she's going to be talking your head off during the movie. You know she's going to be talking your head off. And you got to be emotionally present because guess what? If you're not, she's going to try to sneak one in on you. Oh, you said it was okay. Remember? What? When did I say that was okay? Oh, remember we was watching that movie? Remember over dinner? Remember we were doing that? Remember? Blah, 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 blah. Because you wasn't emotionally present. So I'm on vacation. I'm on this phone a lot. Y'all hate me. I know they hate me. I got the Twitter fingers. I'm on vacation. I'm on social media. I got time today, cuz I got time. So my wife will be talking to me, and I'm Twitter finger it up, and she hates that because I just drown everything out, and I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I can't even respond to her. And I feel bad, but you know what? She got to wait sometimes. And then sometimes I got to put the phone down and be present. You see what that is? There's balance. I can't always be on the phone or watching TV or be too focused on something else that I can't focus on what's really important. Because your woman has needs. And as a man, it's your job to meet needs. That's what you do. We meet needs. People need something. We're generous. I'll just say it like that. We're generous. We meet needs. So you got to be emotionally present and you got to be mentally focused. And this is the
How
big
good?
one.
How good does it feel to be trusted, whether you put it down or pick it up?
Say that again. Say that again. That's real. That's real. How good does it feel to be trusted? Whether you put it down or pick it up. This boils down, are you a man? At the end of the day, are you a man? Are you unapologetically a man? Are you harnessing your masculine energy like you're supposed to? Are you moving in the masculine or are you moving in the feminine? Because a lot of men are moving in the feminine. Today's men, I'm sorry, if you were raised by a single mother, you probably went through that. You probably been emasculated already, and you need to get your manhood back. I know you love mama. I know mama can do no wrong. I know big mama can do no wrong. I know women, when they say something, you gotta. But that's because you've been emasculated. That's because you don't know how to think for yourself. That's because you're thinking like a woman. Because you were raised by a woman. You think like what you were raised like. You can only you can only be you can only, how can I say this? You can only practice what you've been preached to all your life. You can only you only develop the habits based on how you were raised. And if you were raised by a single mother, there's a chance, a high chance, especially if you didn't have any men around, that you've been emasculated and you're thinking like a woman, not necessarily thinking like a man. So leading into this, don't be afraid to say no. You got to be selfish, man. Men, you have to be more selfish. What makes sense for you? If it doesn't make sense for you, don't do it. I don't care if it makes sense for her. Don't be afraid to say no. Be selfish. It's okay to say no when your partner asks for something that will not benefit either of you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no when she asks for something that is not in her best interest. It's okay to say no. It's even okay to say no when she asks for something that may benefit both of you. It's okay to say no. But you don't think it's worth especially if you don't think it's worth the price tag. It may benefit you both, but it may cost too much or it may take too much time. Don't be afraid to say no. The same goes for your children. If it will not provide them with a better life or help them reach their full potential, then don't do it. Stop simping for women. Stop simping for children. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't let your kids run you, and don't let your wife run you. You are the leader in that home. They need to get on your page, on your program. See, the way my dad raised me, he was military. His way or the highway. I didn't have to like it. I didn't have to understand what he was doing. He would, what my dad was doing? He was turning me into a good follower so I could become a good leader. Children need to be good followers so they can one day become good leaders. If you're always simping for your children, if you're always simping for your wife, they're not going to grow. They're not going to become who they need to become. You have to lay down the law. You have to set the bound. You have to not be afraid to say no. Matter of fact, man, my dad was strict. See, when people use words like my dad was strict, you understand that man had boundaries. You understand that man knew how to say no. Oh, Dad, I need this. No, you don't. My dad was born in 1942, so there was no school clothes shopping. Okay. Matter of fact, I can tell you back in the day that I wore some, especially in the 7th and 8th grade. Okay. Especially 7th and 8th grade, man. I had some weird clothes, man. I probably wore the same clothes my dad bought me for 7th grade in 8th grade, and they were a little bit too tight. I probably had the same rundown XJ 900s leaning to the side, and I was getting clowned. But guess what? That built character, believe it or not. People clowning me, guess what? I learned how to clown right back. I learned how to become confident even when I had nothing on, no gear. Matter of fact, it got so bad that I remember one time I had to do a run out to get some gear, man. I still had the clothes with the mark on them, and then we had to pull out the ink and the ink stain. I had to wear the long shirt to cover up the ink stain because my dad wouldn't buy me no school clothes because he was that rigid, that strict. I had to beg my dad to give me some school clothes and do this and that. And guess what? My dad, eventually he softened up and he bought it for him. But man, it was a fight. But I can't take away the lessons that I learned from going through hard times or facing or learning how to be confident without wearing gear and learn how to be cool, right? Learn how to be popular without having to be the best dressed. And I also had to learn how to work with what I got. I learned how to put together some clothes and look tight with what I had. Because I had a dad who said no. I don't got the money. So I understood that, hey man, my dad worked hard. He put food on the table. Sometimes this is all he can do. And guess what? That's enough. See, that's the world. The world says you got to have gear and you got to look this way or you got to do that. The world says the woman needs the Gucci bag, the Louis Vuitton, and no. She don't need all that. She needs what you can provide. Your children need what you can provide. And guess what? That's enough. Don't make them make you feel less than a man because you said no.
I'm glad you said that, the world, because a lot of times that no protects you and your family more than you think. Because a lot of times, like you said, the world, the TV, the alphabet crew, anybody, they're constantly trying to teach your kids and teach your wife something to come bring before you to see if you're going to say yes to it. And a lot of times that no goes a long way. Like, no. And I'm saying this no to protect you as my wife and you as my child. Like, I see where you got that from, or even sometimes if you don't see where they got it from, like, this doesn't go for this house. Why you asking me that? No, that's coming from another source. So I get it. That no
Brother
goes a
Aaron
long way.
says 4 check marks. Like we didn't hit all the boxes for him. Shout out to Brother Aaron. We hit all the boxes for that dude. He said check, 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 check. Ding, 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 ding. Do I got a sound effect for that? Ding, 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 ding. There you go. There you go. So don't be afraid to say no. Number 8, you got to take risk. As a man, you have to take some risk. You can learn to take risk. Risk taking is a masculine trait. Okay, if you're not a risk taker, you're not being masculine. It's a masculine trait. It's in your blood. It's part of your nature. You must embrace this side of yourself for the sake of all good in your life. If you're not taking risk, what the hell are you doing? Are you afraid? Are you fearful? Is that why you're not taking risk? Risk taking can be fun too. You might try something new, like skydiving or base jumping. You could find yourself in an adventure trip to Nepal, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. The possibilities are endless. And if you don't want to venture out into the world solo, there's also plenty of risk-taking opportunities right here at home. Playing poker with your friends, taking up golf, learning how to play can be great ways to push yourself out of the comfort zone while still enjoying some downtime with pals. But risk-taking isn't all fun and games. Sometimes we need to face our fears head on and move forward. Anyway, despite what might come next, such as failing, this takes courage. Men are courageous, okay? But if done right, it will pay off tenfold in terms of both personal growth and relationship. You got to be a risk taker. You can't be afraid to fail. I'm gonna tell you right now. They're gonna laugh at you anyway. They're gonna laugh at you anyway. Chances are your wife don't believe in you anyway. Chances are you're gonna fail and you're gonna fail big. So what? You gotta fail forward. Some at first they don't succeed. Try again. Let me tell you something. You might start a business, and guess what? You have a fear that that business is gonna fail. Guess what? I just started many businesses and they didn't fail. I had 2 e-commerce businesses, then all of a sudden the pandemic hit. They failed. But did they? Because I learned from my mistakes. And guess what? I'm going to restart those e-commerce businesses back up again, y'all. And this time they're going to succeed because I learned from my mistakes. See, you can't learn if you're not making a mistake. You only learn when you're making a mistake. You can't learn when you're doing everything right. There's no learning. You only learn from the lessons that are taught to you, from the lessons that you learn from others, and the lessons that you make on your own. That's why it's important to be spiritually grounded. That's why it's important to have a purpose. That's why it's important to be a good follower so you can become a good leader. You got to have some ground. You got to have some bound. You got to have some ground rules. You got to have something that's in you already. And if you're spiritually grounded, that's a start, because at least you'll know how to check that compass. Got anything you want to add on that, Walter?
Yeah. Also, take a risk. Don't just take a risk with your finances or things like that, or with travel. Take a risk with your mind. If you know you've been raised in a single mother household, or you know you've been raised a certain way, start taking risk and see what else is out there. Like tune into listen to podcasts like this one, or go read different books. Take risks with your mind as well. Expand your mind, because that's the only way you can really break bad habits, break bad background, break false teaching, is if you take risk with your mind as well.
That's real. Man, get out there, man. Let me tell you something, man. If you're a Christian, that's great. I think it's awesome. Learn about other religions. Not because you want to be converted by that other religion, because you need to know that you need to. The Bible says, line upon line, precept upon precept. The Bible will say, prove me. The Bible always talking about prove me. You got to prove that God exists. How you gonna know to battle that other religion or come against false teaching if you don't know what if you don't even know what they're teaching? How you gonna know if they got that from the Bible? Because how you gonna know if you don't know the history of this? And how you gonna know? Because people can come up and tell you anything. They can move the goalpost. I was on my own podcast. I had somebody move the goalpost, and I allowed that to happen. I allowed this person to come in and take control and manipulate the conversation and put in things to where I didn't even know what was happening to me. Didn't even know. I had to sit back and be like, damn, this dude just bamboozled me. Just bamboozled me. He moved the goalpost so many times. He calmed. I mean, he had a smooth way of doing it. But guess what? You live and you learn. I'll take an L. I'll take that L. He got me. But that don't mean he was right. That don't mean I was wrong. That just means, hey, he was much more clever than I was. I was less articulate that day. But if you're spiritually grounded, you can discern. You have the spirit of discernment. You can discern what's happening and what's going on, and you can combat it. When emotions are high, intelligence, no, he got me emotional. See, when a person gets you in their emotions, they got you. They got you. So take some risks. Be spiritually grounded. Number 9, have a sense of humor about yourself in life too. You don't have to always be too serious. This is part of failing too. See, if you're afraid to fail, that's because you're too serious, man. You know what? Failing is fun because you know you're going to get back up. You can't take yourself too seriously or life itself. You can't take women too seriously either. Okay? It's okay not to be perfect because no one is. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. It's even more important in relationship than anywhere else because everyone has a right to have some doubts and uncertainty about what they're doing and where they're going in life. So why should we expect ourselves or others not to have these feelings? There's no such thing, and this I always say there's no such thing as a right or wrong decision. There are just decisions that you make and decisions that you make right. As a man, our job is to make decisions. Not the woman's job. It's the man's job. But there's also a caveat to that. We have to make a decision and then we have to make it right. You it's okay, listen, I, I used to say it like this. I'm a man, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna make mistakes. But you as the woman have to allow me to make mistakes. You can't be jumping down my neck every time you think I did something wrong or think I'm doing something that's not right. You have to allow me to make those decisions because my job is also to make it right. I'm not going to put us in a position that we can't recover from. I'm always going to make sure that I don't go too far into the deep to where I can't swim. I do not want to and if you're a man that take risks like that, something's wrong. Men are calculated. If you're going to take a risk, you got to be calculated. You got to have some science behind that. You got to have some logic behind that. You got to have some understanding. You got to have some discernment. You got to have some spirituality behind all that. You got to have a balance. You got to make decisions in balance. But how are you going to know if you don't make a decision or if you're scared or if you say, well, shoot, let me ask the wife? Because some men, some men like to do this, Walter. Some men like to ask their wife and then let their wife make the decision. So in the end, they can blame their wife. Well, I didn't do it. You did it. You sound like Adam. You don't want to be the first Adam. You want to be the second Adam. Not the first Adam. You want to be the second Adam.
Yeah, don't get in trouble with God
You
because
know what I'm
because God speaks to you directly, and
saying?
and God says, "Hey, I told you to do this, or I told you you could make your mind up about this. I didn't tell you to pass off what I gave you
Right.
so it could be squandered."
Right. God made you the leader. So lead. Lead. Make mistakes. Who cares? But make it right. And if you're following God, if you're following the Spirit, if you're spiritually grounded, if you're following a higher purpose or a higher calling, that's going to save you. That's where your help is coming from. Your help is coming from your purpose. Because if you're following your purpose, you're probably doing the right thing. The moment you stop following your purpose, you know how that goes. You get in trouble.
And then you have to know how much of you got to know how much of yourself to give to different people at different times as well, because I mean, even if we go back to the Bible, Yeshua didn't give um, all of himself to every single person. He gave him this part of himself to this person. This part he gave himself out as needed, and you got to know how to balance that, because if not, like people can exhaust you. People can wear you out if you go above your calling, go above um, what's needed at the moment. You can get worn out as a man. So know how much of yourself to give out.
That's true. That's true. And Yeshua, he had a way of drawing away from the crowd to recharge himself. You can't, as a man, you cannot be ever. I honestly, I think men should be loners. I don't think we should be the social butterfly. That's the woman's job. I think as a man, we should be loners. Yeah, we should have our wolf pack. We should have our crew. But we got to be able to charge. We got to be able to recharge, and we can't do that with other people pulling on us and drawing our power. You know, when Yeshua walked through the crowd, everybody was touching him. Everybody was putting their hands on him. Everybody, but there was this one woman that when she touched him, she drew power. And he said, "Oh, some virtue has left me. Who touched me?" And the disciple was like, "What do you mean, man? We're in a crowd of people. There's so many people." He said, "No, I am weak. Somebody stole virtue. Somebody stole virtue from me." And he turned around, and the woman had to. She was in tears because she knew what she did. She knew by her faith and by her just, you know, I don't want to go too deep, but visualization is powerful. You can drain virtue from a person by being in the contact with them, by touching them, by being around them. There are certain things that you can do that can draw upon the power that God gave you, and you can give it to some, and it can be transferred to someone else. And he put that woman on the spot, and she was in tears, and she was crying, and also because she knew that she was healed. She drew virtue. She drew power. As a man, you should have that type of power. You should have that type of effect on people. We see it in movie stars. We see it in celebrities, right? People falling out, fainting, you know. That stuff is real. You can be that polarizing. You can have Yeshua had a polarizing effect on people because he walked in his purpose. When you're walking in your purpose, you can be polarizing. You can have power. You can have an anointing. See, you have to be a leader, not an employee in the relationship or in life. You always have to think, what would a great leader do? What would Yeshua do? That should be your mindset. Remember that rock? What would Jesus do? Back in the day, back in the 80s. If you were back in the 80s, there was this little rock that they passed around. And it was, what would Jesus do on this rock? Right. But to be a leader and not an employee relationship of your life, you have to constantly be thinking as a leader. You have to constantly think, what would a great leader do in this situation? That's how you become a leader. That's how you lead. You lead by thinking, what would someone greater than me do in this situation? As a leader, you are responsible for your own happiness. You take charge and make decisions for yourself. You're decisive and assertive about what's important to you, and you won't settle for less than what makes you happy. A great leader is confident in himself enough to know where he stands on an issue without needing someone else's approval or validation. Before he speaks his truth, a great leader will not be afraid to say no if it means protecting his own interests or boundaries. This includes saying no because he doesn't want something done a particular way, even if others considers it the right way or the wrong way. See, as a leader, you can't be afraid of what other people are thinking about you. You're walking in the know now. See, when you're thinking, what would Yeshua do, or what would, I don't know, whatever you just name, what Martin Luther King, you can just name whatever names, whoever you think of the great, Muhammad Gandhi, whoever you think is a great leader, Buddha, I don't care, Confucius, I don't care. When you're thinking like that, you're thinking like a leader. You're walking in your purpose. You're saying, you're drawing power from the ancestors, and you're walking in it. A great leader doesn't let others talk him into things just so they'll like him more. Instead, he communicates his boundaries clearly so people know exactly where they stand with him and respect that boundary by respecting him as an equal partner in life, not an employee who has no control over his own destiny. See, let me tell you why the world wants you to go to school get a good education so you can become an employee. That's what the world wants to do. They want you to be an employee your whole entire life. They see, if you're an employee, you're used to being told what to do. You're not a boss. You're not a leader. Because you go to work and somebody tells you what to do. Now, there's nothing wrong with selling your services for a fee. If you got to go to work, you have to rethink about what a job is. You have to look at that job like you are a 1099. You have to look at that job like you're an independent employee and you are selling your services. Because if you go to that job waiting on them to train you and teach you and show you what to do, and that's good, you want to know how to do the job. But you're going to take that home with you. You're going to be an employee in your marriage, in your relationship. You're going to have a boss when you get home. You know what people talk about when they like, this, when you know those men who try to be like, well, this is the boss. You know those men I'm talking about. Oh, I got to ask the old lady. I got to ask the boss. Well, we know right then and there you're not a man. That's why your homeboy's laughing at you. But then sometimes the same homeboy that laughing at you, they laughing at you because they know they got the same thing at home. They got a boss or an old chain. You ever heard that saying, the old ball and chain? Because they got a leash on them.
They fear divorce.
They fear, man, you can't fear it. You have to embrace it. Let's be real. Men are living longer than before. It's going to be hard to stay with the same woman 50, 60 years. It's going to take work. Not everything is going to work out. Not everything's meant to last a long time. You can't be afraid to be righteous. I'm going to say it like that. You can't be afraid to be righteous. If you're afraid to be righteous, I don't know, man. Sometimes being righteous is walking the narrow path, the straight and narrow path. And sometimes that straight and narrow path, nobody wants to be on that path because it's too hard. But you, as a man, you can't be afraid to walk the straight and narrow path. As a leader, you have to be a servant to others and you have to live with integrity. You can't be afraid to live with integrity. A lot of men, they don't have integrity. They're loosey-goosey. Their yay is not yay and their nay is not nay. They want to game you up. They want to tell you what you want to hear. They want to pander. That's not a leader. Leaders don't pander. Leaders have to know. The reason why people follow leaders, the reason why people follow pastors is because they know. Or at least they're supposed to know. The reason why people follow cult leaders because they speak with so much charisma and conviction. As a leader, as a man, you have to know. Nothing wrong with serving others. That's a noble thing. But you don't serve with the mentality of you're not leading. Sometimes you serve in order to lead. Sometimes you humble yourself because there's someone greater than you. That's also part of being a leader. Being a leader is knowing your room. See, if you're in a room full of people, you're always going to know who the leader is. Because everybody's listening to the leader. Everybody's focused on the leader. And you may not be the leader in that room. And it's okay. It's okay to recognize that when there's someone greater than you. But when you have that leader in the room, you learn from them. You grow. You don't try to compete or be masculine or cut. Everybody know. Listen. Some rooms you're going to walk into and you're going to be the man. Some rooms you're going to walk into and you're not going to be a man. Part of being a great leader is being a great follower. But that doesn't mean you're an employee. You have to think of yourself like a 1099. You're not an employee, you're an independent contractor. You are selling your services for a fee. That's how you serve others. That's how you live and walk with integrity. You move like a leader. Always think, what would a person greater than me do? Shoot, there's sometimes I'm walking around thinking, man, what would Walter do? Walter be dropping so many nuggets on here. I got to be like, man, what in this situation? What would my boy Walter say?
Likewise. And that's part
Because
of service. Part of
yeah,
service is also serving others doesn't mean you always serve others exactly what they want. So
you got to serve them what they need, what they
gotta
should
serve
have.
a little bit what they need, what they want, a little bit of both. Because
And serve them
like
what
I
they
tell
don't want.
like I tell people, life if you're ever life is like a dish or a recipe. Like some recipes call for sweet, some recipes call for bittersweet, some recipe calls for bitter things. You can't just get all the sweet. Like a good leader isn't going to be a Derek Jackson. A good leader isn't going to be, um,
Jamal Bryant, come on now.
yeah, like a good leader is going to know how it is going to have sweet, bittersweet, and bitter in their pantry to dish out as what's needed. I'm not going to serve you everything that you want all the time. So some of us need to be able to recognize good leaders as well, because a good leader isn't somebody that's going to, like you said, pander, gas you up all the time when you don't need to be gassed up. A good leader isn't going to be a yes man.
That's right. That's right. Man, a good leader, a good leader knows who he is. He knows his limitations. See, when you know your strengths and know your weaknesses, you know what you're good at, you know what you're bad at. Surround yourself around people who, 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 who. How can I say this? Surround yourself around people who are stronger in the areas that you're weak in. That's how you become stronger. If you want to grow, bring people into your circle that have what you don't have. Bring people in the circle that you want. You know, like like I'm glad to have Walter in my circle, right? Because he's strong in things I'm not strong at. He's good in relationships and counseling, things that I'm not good at, and I'm
Likewise,
okay with
brother.
that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying, hey man, you need to go hit up my boy Walter real quick, man. He gonna help y'all through the situation because I may not be that guy. You may not want to hear me all the time. You may not want to, I may be too blunt. I may be too blanket statements that they call it. I may be too misogynist or sexy. I mean, whatever you want to say. I may not be that guy, but I know people that can tell it to you how it is in a way where you'll receive it. That's more articulate than me, that's more stronger than me in certain areas, and it works. So don't let a woman take away your manhood. Do not, I repeat, do not allow any woman to emasculate you. Let's get one thing straight right now. You should not let your woman control you. You should not let her tell you what to do, how to think, how to feel. You need to set boundaries for yourself. Hold on to them firmly. If she tries to cross those boundaries, then it's time for another talk about respect and trust, or she got to go.
Or
That's
entity.
really how it is. And that's the bonus. Or entity. Or entity. It can go both ways. You know, if you guys want this PowerPoint and you want me to release this PowerPoint, because I think this PowerPoint is good, I need at least 100 likes. If this video gets 100 likes on this video, I will release the PowerPoint so you guys can have this. because this is something that you guys, this is something that you guys can always refer back to. You gotta have tools in your tool belt. You gotta have tools in your tool belt. Men, I'm gonna say it again until it's blue in the face. It's better to respect it. It's better to be respected than to love. God commands us as men to love, right? God says, men, love your husbands like Christ loved the church, right? And love is actually another word for correct. Whatever you love, you're going to correct. Let me say that again. Whatever you love, you're going to correct. But then God also commands the woman not to love her husband, but to respect him. Men need respect. You think you need love, you don't. You need respect. Because if a person respects you, it's going to lead to love anyway. So, Walter, you got any last words, man? We're going to end this broadcast, man. I think this was a good broadcast, man. I think this was a thank you for saying that I should do this. I mean, when you brought it up, I was like, man, you know what? That makes perfect sense. I got to put out. And you see, I went and did my homework this time. I wasn't just half stepping.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, I hope it just reaches out and touches somebody and helps somebody that doesn't have the father figure or that needs direction. Because especially this last point, don't let women or entities take away your manhood. Because as a man, and this is what I say to the young men that are raised by single mothers that don't know what to do, you're always going to have somebody coming up saying, hey, you need to be like D Wade. You need to be like Steve Harvey. You need to be like, no. If anything, they should say you need to be like Yeshua. Or if you don't believe in Yeshua, you need to be like somebody that's really manning it up, because that's one of the most disrespectful things. That if you try to come to a man and tell that man that he need to be like somebody that's not being, I guess in our context, not being what we just described as a man or as a leader. So just watch it, and thank you for having me.
For sure. And I want to say this last thing, man. I never was a fan. Like I kid you not, Snoop Dogg, anybody can walk in the room, and I'm not gonna rush to go get their autograph. Okay, I can honestly say I've been around highly successful, high income earners, celebrities before, and I wasn't like everybody else rushing to get their autograph or to take pictures with them. Okay, I treat people like I'm on their level. Like I treat celebrities like I'm their peer. Okay, I don't get all I need to bow. No, none of that. Because you know who my hero was. You want to know who I looked up to? My dad.
Yes, sir.
If you weren't my dad, if I worship anybody, it was my dad. Okay, my dad taught me so much. I argued and fought with this man so much. I mean, I had access to all his jewels and all his pearls. He taught me so much that I look at people like they can't even hold a light next to my dad. So why am I going to go out there and follow a Dwayne Wade?
Come
right?
on, man.
How am I gonna look up to even Obama, as smooth as Obama was, right? My dad was critical of Obama. Okay. So when I hear my dad saying he's a phony, he's a con artist, man, guess what, man? I believe my dad. My dad had a keen ability to know people, to know what's what, and to say this is fake and this is not. I used to argue with my dad because I wanted what he had. I wanted that discernment that he had. And you know what? I have it. I got it from him. I grabbed the hem of his garment and pulled that virtue out because I wanted it. I wanted to know, how can you judge people without even knowing them and be right? How did you do that? Some things are caught, not taught. Let me say that again. Some things are caught, not taught. Some things cannot be explained in words. It's just understood. And with that being said, we're going to end the broadcast, you guys. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank Walter for coming up on the show, man. I appreciate you, man. Your jewels. I appreciate you helping me out, teach this lesson here. Modern women, if your man is on a leash, let him go. Let him go. Let him go. And if you on that leash, set yourself free. Set yourself free. Set yourself free. And with that being said, you guys,